Drama explodes on the Young and the Restless as Genoa City faces chaos the week of April 27 to May 1. Nick collapses during a tense desert rescue, leaving his fate uncertain while Matt coldly watches his plan unfold. Meanwhile, Victor Newman tightens his grip, targeting Phylis and proving he's still in control. In a shocking twist, Matt abandons Sharon and Noah in a deadly trap, raising the stakes for everyone involved. As alliances shift and emotions run high, life-changing decisions and dangerous power plays push several lives to the brink. Welcome to A Mysterious Time TV, where the drama unfolds and the stories captivate. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of Young and the Restless, uncovering untold stories and hidden truths behind the headlines. Y&RRecap, Monday, April 27. Nick crumbles during desert rescue as Kane delivers life-changing news. Monday's episode of The Young and the Restless delivered a gripping mix of emotional revelations and high-stakes danger. While one storyline brought a glimmer of hope for Malcolm, another spiraled into a life-threatening crisis in the desert. As secrets surfaced and tensions flared, several characters were pushed to their limits in unexpected ways. Kane brings hope for Malcolm, but doubts linger. At Society, Lily sat alone with her thoughts, nursing a drink as she reflected on Kane's unexpected offer to be tested as a bone marrow donor for Malcolm. The weight of the situation was clear: Malcolm's condition was worsening, and time was running out. When Nate and Devin arrived, they initially assumed they were there for business. However, it quickly became evident that Lily had more pressing concerns. She revealed that neither Nate nor Devin had proven to be a match and that the National Donor Registry hadn't produced results either. Still, there was one final possibility: Kane. Although Lily expressed deep gratitude for Kane stepping forward, Devin immediately questioned his intentions. To him, Kane's timing felt suspicious. He feared that Kane might be using Lily's vulnerable state as an opportunity to reinsert himself into her life. Lily pushed back, clearly frustrated. To her, Malcolm's survival mattered far more than any personal history. She insisted that Kane's motivations were irrelevant if he could save Malcolm's life. Devin, however, couldn't separate the past from the present, warning Lily to stay cautious. Kane reflects on his decision. Over at Crimson Lights, Kane had a chance encounter with Holden after mistakenly picking up the wrong coffee order. Apologizing, he admitted he had a lot on his mind, though he hinted that it might lead to something positive. Encouraging Holden to sit with him, Kane tried to ease any awkwardness between them, noting that their shared connection to Lily essentially made them family. Holden confessed he hadn't yet built a relationship with Malcolm, as everything felt overwhelming, especially given Malcolm's health crisis. Kane revealed he had already undergone testing to see if he could be a donor. Holden was impressed, but also curious. While acknowledging that the act was generous, Holden subtly questioned whether Kane's decision was influenced by lingering feelings for Lily. Kane didn't give a direct answer, leaving his true motivations open to interpretation. Abby pushes Devin to let go. Back at Society, Abby approached Devin with an important update, a letter from his lawyer. As he read it, his frustration quickly turned to anger. The court had denied his request to overturn Mariah's plea deal. Devin was outraged, feeling as though the system had failed him as a parent. In his eyes, justice had not been served. Abby, however, was more concerned about how deeply the situation was affecting him. She urged Devin to step back, pointing out that his obsession with punishing Mariah was starting to consume him, and even impacting their son, Dominic. Devin resisted her concerns, insisting he wasn't seeking revenge, only accountability. Abby disagreed, warning that his fixation was becoming unhealthy. She made it clear that something needed to change before it caused lasting damage to their family. The results are in. As tensions remained high, anticipation built around Kane's test results. When he finally arrived at society, all eyes were on him. The news he delivered was exactly what Lily had been hoping for. He was a match. Relief washed over the group, offering a rare moment of optimism amid the chaos. For Lily, it meant Malcolm might have a real chance at survival. But for Devon, the complicated implications of Kane's involvement still loomed large. Suspicion and confrontation in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, back in the Las Vegas suite, anxiety was building. Chelsea paced the room, growing increasingly restless as she waited for Adam and Nick to return from their mission. Riza attempted to calm her down, but their conversation quickly turned tense. Chelsea dismissed Riza's insights into Adam's personality, insisting she knew exactly who he was and what he wanted, a future with her. Riza, however, wasn't convinced. She hinted that Adam might still be drawn to a risk-filled lifestyle, comparing him to a gambler who could never fully walk away. Chelsea refused to entertain the idea. Their verbal sparring escalated, with Chelsea accusing Riza of being untrustworthy, especially after she sold them the location of the abandoned gas station for a hefty sum. Riza fired back, suggesting Chelsea might not be as secure in her relationship as she claimed. The tension was interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Sienna, who arrived with urgency after realizing Noah had misled her about his plans. Chelsea explained the situation, that Noah and Sharon might have been lured into a trap by Matt, and that Adam and Nick were already on their way to investigate. Riza introduced herself, only for Sienna to immediately recognize her as someone who had been involved with Matt in the past. Sienna's distrust was immediate and intense. Although Riza claimed she had been unaware of Sienna's existence during her relationship with Matt, who had used the alias Arani, Sienna wasn't convinced. Determined to act, Sienna insisted on heading out into the desert herself. Chelsea and Riza both warned against it, pointing out the dangers and lack of cell service. Still, Sienna refused to sit idly by. Before leaving, she made it clear she didn't trust Riza and urged Chelsea to keep an eye on her. Riza maintained that she was no longer aligned with Matt, but skepticism lingered. Matt's cruel plan unfolds. At a remote desert hideout, Matt revealed just how far he was willing to go. Entering the room where Sharon and Noah were bound, he coldly informed them that their car would never be found. Sharon, terrified, demanded to know if he truly intended to leave them there to die. Matt confirmed it without hesitation, chillingly noting that the cold desert nights would likely claim them before starvation did. Both Sharon and Noah pleaded for the other's release, each willing to sacrifice themselves. Matt mocked their loyalty, finding amusement in their desperation. He made sure Noah understood that his actions, specifically his involvement with Matt's wife, had led to this moment. After taunting them, Matt left them behind, sealing their fate, or so he believed. Once alone, Sharon and Noah struggled against their restraints. Hope seemed distant until Sharon spotted a nearby toolbox. She attempted to reach it but came up short. Noah speculated that Matt might be using them as bait, believing that Nick and Adam would eventually arrive. Clinging to that possibility, they continued trying to free themselves, even as the odds seemed stacked against them. Nick pushes himself too far. On the road to the desert, Adam grew increasingly concerned about Nick's condition. Despite Nick's insistence that he was fine, it was clear he was struggling. Adam urged him to pull over, recognizing that something was wrong. Nick resisted at first, determined to push through. But after a heated exchange, he finally relented. Once they switched seats, Adam confronted the reality of the situation, Nick was dealing with withdrawal and needed help. Though reluctant and clearly ashamed, Nick eventually took a pill to steady himself. Adam promised that once this ordeal was over, they would get him proper treatment. For now, their focus had to remain on saving Sharon and Noah. A rescue turns into a crisis. When Adam and Nick arrived at the deserted location, they were immediately suspicious. There were no signs of activity, leading Nick to question whether they had been misled. Adam insisted they check it out anyway. Armed with Riza's gun, he followed Nick toward the building. Inside, Sharon and Noah were stunned when Adam burst in, weapon drawn. Relief quickly replaced fear as they realized help had arrived. Nick demanded to know where Matt had gone, but there was no immediate answer. Meanwhile, miles away, Matt calmly monitored the situation through CCTV as he drove deeper into the desert night. As Adam searched for the key to free Sharon and Noah, Sharon directed him toward the toolbox she had spotted earlier. Tension filled the room as every second counted. Then, without warning, the situation took a dramatic turn. Nick suddenly collapsed to the floor, unconscious. What should have been a moment of triumph instantly became a medical emergency, leaving everyone shaken and uncertain about what would happen next. Next update. Tensions rise across Genoa City as power plays, shocking alliances, and emotional breaking points take center stage during the week of April 27 through May 1 on The Young and the Restless. At the heart of it all is Victor Newman, who wastes no time asserting control and proving he's still the ultimate strategist. Monday, April 27. Danger looms large for Sharon and Noah as they struggle to survive a life-threatening situation. Their fate hangs in the balance, leaving everyone wondering if both will make it out safely. Meanwhile, an unexpected partnership forms when Chelsea and Sienna decide to work together. Since these two rarely cross paths, their alliance suggests trouble is brewing for someone. Elsewhere, Abby reaches out to Devon with hopes of reconciliation, offering a chance to heal old wounds. Whether Devon is ready to accept remains uncertain. Kane, on the other hand, receives news that could alter his future in a major way. Tuesday, April 28. Victor turns the tables on Phylis by calling her bluff, showing once again that he's not easily outmaneuvered. Phylis believed she had the upper hand, but Victor quickly proves otherwise. At the same time, Nick spirals downward and hits a devastating low point after weeks of emotional turmoil. Lauren also steps in firmly with Daniel, refusing to back down as she defends her position. Wednesday, April 29. Adam confronts Nick and forces him to face reality without holding anything back. It's a harsh but necessary moment that pushes Nick further toward accountability. On a brighter note, Lily shares encouraging updates with Stephanie and Holden, likely tied to developments involving Malcolm and Kane. Meanwhile, Billy catches Sally off guard with an unexpected move that shifts the dynamic between them. Thursday, April 30. Victor applies pressure on Michael, demanding loyalty and forcing him into a difficult position that could have serious consequences. Jack, tired of reacting to others, unveils a bold new strategy and prepares to go on the offensive. At the same time, Christine delivers a serious warning to Phylis. As an emerging force in the district attorney's office, she makes it clear that her threats carry weight. Patty also stirs chaos by targeting Kyle, reverting to her unpredictable and dangerous behavior. Friday, May 1. Victor pushes Nick to finally admit the truth he's been avoiding, refusing to let him escape accountability any longer. As this long-delayed confession comes to light, the fallout is sure to ripple across multiple relationships. Victoria, anticipating a showdown, begins preparing her defense against Phylis, signaling that a major conflict is on the horizon. Meanwhile, Sharon grows increasingly suspicious of Sienna, questioning where her true loyalties lie as doubts continue to mount. With shifting alliances, emotional revelations, and Victor firmly pulling the strings, this week promises intense drama and high-stakes confrontations that will leave lasting consequences throughout Genoa City. Next update. Matt abandons Sharon and Noah in deadly trap. Victor tightens the noose on Phylis. Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless delivered intense confrontations, shocking ultimatums, and a sinister plan that left lives hanging by a thread. In her office, Phylis spirals into anxiety as she frets over Victoria's recent conversation with the bug. Her unease quickly turns into a fiery rant directed at her own portrait, where she swears she'll never back down from Victor. Unfortunately for her, Victor and Victoria walk in mid-outburst, witnessing the bizarre scene firsthand. They've come prepared with a final proposition, one they frame as her last opportunity to escape serious consequences. Phylis initially brushes them off, but Victoria presses forward, demanding that she immediately relinquish control of the company. If she refuses, they warn, incriminating files will be handed over to the district attorney. Phylis attempts to laugh it off until they drop a bombshell. Christine will officially step into the D&A role the very next day. Victor calmly asks if she's reconsidering their offer, while Victoria reveals they have evidence tying Phylis to a conspiracy with Kane and Billy to seize Newman Enterprises. Phylis counters that fabricated proof won't stand in court, but Victoria insists that decision will rest with the D&A. She presents emails allegedly linking Phylis to the scheme and emphasizes that Christine will determine their authenticity. Phylis tries to flip the narrative, accusing Victor of stealing Kane's company, but Victor and Victoria remain confident she won't be able to prove it. They claim to have a digital trail, along with testimony from former executives who overheard Phylis boasting about outmaneuvering Victor. To drive the point home, those same executives appear in person, ready to back up the accusations. Unshaken on the surface, Phylis challenges them to take it to court. Victor, however, is done negotiating. He orders her to prepare the transfer documents by the end of the day. Once alone, Phylis finally lets her guard down, admitting to her portrait that she may actually be in serious trouble. Desperate, she calls Lauren and explains that someone has created a sophisticated system designed to falsify evidence against her. The pressure hits her physically, she struggles to breathe, feeling as though she's been punched in the gut. Learning that Christine will soon oversee the case only intensifies her urgency. Phylis resolves to have her IT team prove the evidence is fake before it's too late. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Victor and Victoria reflect on their strategy. Victoria admires her father's calculated brilliance, and Victor returns the praise. They're confident they'll succeed regardless of Phylis's next move. Later, Michael meets with Phylis and listens to her frustrations about the manufactured documents. He warns her that both Kane and Billy could be subpoenaed, and if Christine offers them leniency in exchange for testimony, they may not hesitate to turn against her. Realizing how precarious her situation is, Phylis bitterly concludes that she may be out of options, but still refuses to surrender. Chaos in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, Adam, Chelsea, and Nick attempt to strike a deal with Risa, hoping she'll reveal Matt's whereabouts and his next move. At the same time, Matt is already several steps ahead, driving with Sharon and Noah as captives. He taunts them, mocking their expectation that Nick would come to their rescue. When Noah tries to fight back, Matt quickly pulls a gun, regaining control. Sharon demands answers about Nick's location, and Matt cryptically assures her that both Nick and Adam will arrive soon. He forces them out of the car and into an abandoned gas station, where he launches into a rant about Sienna and makes it clear their ordeal is far from over. Back at the suite, Adam urges Risa to tell them everything. She hesitates, wanting him to admit that their connection meant something. He reluctantly agrees, much to Chelsea's irritation. As tensions rise, Nick grows increasingly aggressive, forcing Adam to step in before things escalate further. Finally, Risa reveals the location, an abandoned gas station, but warns them it's likely a trap. Nick doesn't hesitate. He's convinced Sharon and Noah are being held there and insists they take the risk. At the gas station, Matt continues his twisted performance, hinting that something terrible awaits his captives. Meanwhile, Nick pressures Risa to call Matt. Though reluctant, she agrees and even hands Adam a gun, suggesting he may need it. When Matt answers, Risa lies, claiming Nick and Adam didn't fall for the bait and are heading back to Genoa City. Matt doesn't buy it entirely but plays along, later telling Sharon that her supposed hero is heading in the wrong direction. With a chilling laugh, he declares that it's now just the three of them. Secrets and confrontations. Back in the suite, with Nick and Adam gone, Chelsea and Risa clash. Chelsea reveals that a spider isn't real and presses for details about Risa's past with Adam. Risa admits they shared an intense attraction and electric chemistry, even helping him build a reputation as a top player. Chelsea firmly shuts it down, asserting that whatever they had is over, Adam's future is with her. On the road, Adam grows concerned about Nick's condition. Nick is visibly sweating and agitated, but insists he's fine. Adam doesn't believe him and confronts him about the pills he found earlier. He accuses Nick of being addicted and demands he face the truth. A deadly endgame begins. Back at the gas station, Matt's anger intensifies as he accuses Noah of destroying his life by sleeping with his wife. He argues that Noah acted out of entitlement, believing he could get away with anything because of his last name. When Noah unexpectedly agrees that he doesn't deserve forgiveness, it briefly shifts the dynamic, but not enough to change Matt's plan. In a desperate attempt, Noah asks Matt to release Sharon. Matt refuses outright. According to him, no one is going anywhere except himself. He reveals the horrifying outcome he's orchestrated. Sharon and Noah will be left chained inside, without water, forced to watch each other die. Final moments. At the ranch, Victor and Victoria remain certain victory is within reach. Victoria hopes Phylis will think of her children and choose to cooperate rather than face prison. Victor, however, makes it clear he wouldn't mind seeing her locked up. Back in her office, Michael urges Phylis one last time to comply with Victor's demands. Otherwise, he warns, prison is almost inevitable. Phylis refuses to accept defeat. She insists she'll fight to the bitter end, declaring there's no chance she'll hand over everything she's built. As the episode closes, the stakes couldn't be higher. Phylis faces losing her empire, Nick battles his own demons, and Sharon and Noah are trapped in a life-or-death nightmare with no clear escape. Next update. Young and the Restless next week. Nick's life hangs in the balance as Matt watches his plan unfold. Next week on The Young and the Restless, tensions explode across multiple storylines, but nothing is more shocking than the life-threatening situation involving Nick Newman. As events spiral out of control, Nick suffers a dangerous overdose, while Matt Clark coldly observes from a distance, clearly reveling in the chaos he's created. At the same time, several other characters are thrown into turmoil. Chelsea Lawson is shaken to her core, while Sharon Newman and Noah Newman find themselves trapped in a terrifying situation. Meanwhile, Phylis Summers faces mounting pressure that could cost her everything. Let's break down what's coming up during the week of April 27th. Phylis faces Victor's ruthless power play. Phylis Summers is headed toward a major confrontation that could strip her of everything she's gained. By the end of this week, she's confidently standing in her office at Newman Tower, boldly declaring that she won't back down from Victor Newman. She even boasts, speaking to her own portrait, that Victor has finally met someone who can match his cunning. However, her moment of confidence is quickly shattered. Victor and Victoria Newman walk in and openly laugh at her defiance. They present her with what they claim is an offer she simply cannot refuse. Phylis immediately reminds Victor of how he betrayed her the last time they struck a deal, making it clear she doesn't trust him. But this time, Victor has come prepared with something far more dangerous. Legal trouble looms for Phylis. Victoria reveals a critical piece of information: Christine Williams-Romalotti is back in her role as district attorney. Given Christine's long-standing dislike of Phylis, this development alone is troubling. But it gets worse. Victor has used artificial intelligence to fabricate convincing evidence that appears to implicate Phylis in serious crimes. Though Phylis insists the evidence looks fake, Victoria is confident that Christine will see what she wants to see, and won't hesitate to prosecute. As if that weren't enough, Victor has also arranged for multiple managers to falsely claim that Phylis confessed to these crimes. With both fabricated evidence and supporting witness statements, the case against her looks alarmingly strong. Phylis fires back, accusing Victor and Victoria of hypocrisy, pointing out their own shady actions, including taking control of a company from Kane Ashby and their involvement in the kidnapping and drugging of Jack Abbott. Still, Victor remains unmoved. Refusing to give in, Phylis declares she'll see them in court rather than surrender. Victor warns her one last time: if she doesn't sign everything back over, she'll face the consequences. After they leave, Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore try to comfort Phylis. While she's determined to fight, Michael is far less optimistic about her chances. Phylis scrambles to hold on. Looking ahead, Phylis becomes increasingly desperate to keep what she's taken. The idea of handing victory to Victor is unbearable to her, but the threat of prison time looms large. Whether Christine will actually move forward with prosecution remains uncertain, especially if doubts about the AI-generated evidence surface. Still, Phylis is running out of time and options. Matt Clark's deadly game targets the Newmans. Meanwhile, a far more dangerous storyline unfolds involving Matt Clark and the Newman family. Adam Newman, Nick Newman, and Chelsea Lawson attempt to turn Risa Thompson against Matt. They offer her a significant sum of money in exchange for information. Though tempted, Risa is wary, especially after realizing Adam had been manipulating her. She demands payment up front before cooperating. Eventually, Risa gives them a crucial tip: Matt is hiding out at an abandoned gas station where he stores his drug supply. Nick grows concerned when he realizes Sharon and Noah may be walking straight into a trap, especially since Matt has taken their phones. Despite the obvious danger, the plan moves forward. Risa contacts Matt, falsely telling him that Adam and Nick have left town, hoping to lower his guard. Meanwhile, Adam and Nick head toward the gas station, hoping to intervene before it's too late. Sharon and Noah fall into Matt's trap. At the deserted gas station, Matt makes his move. He quietly sneaks into Sharon and Noah's car, catching them completely off guard. Armed and dangerous, he forces them into the garage and makes it clear they're in serious trouble. Matt ominously tells them that one of them will die while the other is forced to watch. Noah desperately tries to negotiate, even offering money, but Matt is unmoved. When Risa calls, Matt senses something isn't right. He suspects she's lying about Adam and Nick leaving town. Adam confronts Nick's addiction. As Adam and Nick race toward the gas station, Adam becomes increasingly worried about his brother. Nick is clearly not in good shape. He's jittery, sweating, and struggling due to drug withdrawal. Adam confronts him directly, accusing him of hiding his drug use and insisting he needs to face the truth. Nick refuses to admit the extent of his problem, even as his condition worsens. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Adam reluctantly tells Nick to take whatever he needs just to stay functional long enough to rescue Sharon and Noah. A terrifying turn, Nick overdoses. Things take a devastating turn once everyone ends up trapped inside the garage. Matt ultimately locks Nick, Adam, Sharon, and Noah inside before fleeing the scene. Sharon and Noah remain restrained, unable to help as events spiral out of control. Nick, having taken more drugs to steady himself, suffers a severe overdose. He collapses, struggling as Adam desperately tries to help him. Sharon and Noah fight to free themselves, hoping to assist, but their restraints slow them down. The situation becomes increasingly dire with every passing moment. Matt watches and mocks from afar. In a chilling twist, Matt isn't far away, he's watching everything unfold through hidden surveillance cameras. As Nick's condition worsens, Matt mocks him, making cruel remarks about a bad batch of drugs. It becomes clear that this was all part of his plan. Matt had intentionally arranged for Nick to receive tainted drugs, fully expecting and hoping that he would overdose. This wasn't just a trap, it was a calculated attempt to kill. Aftermath: where is Nick? Despite the chaos, there are signs that at least some of the characters make it out alive. Adam eventually returns to Chelsea, looking exhausted and shaken. Chelsea is overwhelmed with relief to see him safe, but her concern quickly shifts when she asks about Nick. Adam's troubled expression suggests that things didn't end well. All signs point to Nick being rushed to the hospital, with Sharon and Noah likely by his side. However, his condition remains uncertain. Will Matt escape justice? The biggest question moving forward is whether Matt Clark will be caught, or if he'll slip away to continue his reign of terror. With lives hanging in the balance and multiple storylines colliding, next week promises intense drama, high stakes, and emotional fallout that could change everything for the Newman family. For more of the latest updates and behind-the-scenes secrets from Young and the Restless, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell. Stay in the know with every new release.